Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? My name is Joe Rojas. I am an author for the book 23, Blue Neptune, and the Green Wizard. And coming soon here in the fall, Uniquitous Magic.
What is Uniquitous Magic?
So Uniquitous Magic is going to be a fantasy fiction story that's going to incorporate the idea of different forms of magic. It's going to have elves, dwarves, all those pieces and components that people like about a good fantasy story.
What inspired you to write Uniquitous Magic?
What inspired me is just the work that I've done, the other authors within fiction, everything that I see when people really get engaged in the reading. I love seeing people fully engaged, turning page by page or switching through their, sliding through their iPads, going through their ebooks. To me that's really cool, seeing that people zoned in, excited for the content they're reading.
Who are some of the main characters?
So one of the main characters is Sky Punchlong here. This was drawn by someone that's on our team named Zach. She is currently about 19 years old. So some of her personalities is that she can be hot-headed. She's got these blazing purple eyes that, when she's really vivid or her anger, tends to get the best of her, you'll start seeing her tiara or her other gold bracelets kind of, light up a flaming red. So once this is complete too, you'll get a lot more of that visual, and really see her come to life.
What are some strengths or weaknesses, flaws?
So one of her strengths is that, once she's focused on something, she's locked in. And as far as flaws, she's still kind of learning how to work with others. She doesn't have that fully down yet. Like I've mentioned, she could be a hothead. Her rage can get the best of her, which can kind of disorient her, to be reasonable as far as what needs to be done, right?
What is her goal?
So her goal ultimately is that she's gonna get revenge for her family. The Dark Overlord Moreshadow sadly wiped out her family. She is a human, and with that also comes, in this story, humans can use magic, and she plans on using her magic to end Moreshadow.
Does she have any fears?
Yes, she has a huge fear of failure. All that's on her mind is getting revenge, which has clouded her. But that is her biggest target, ending the Dark Overlord Moreshadow.
What is her biggest regret?
So her biggest regret is that when she was about 5 years old, Moreshadow came with his orcs, killed her family and her siblings, and her biggest regret was that she didn't have the power to stop that. Unfortunately, it did traumatize her, but as she's gone on, she uses a lot of that memory to fuel her and her magic.
What is her most important relationship?
So her most important relationship is with Karag the dragon. Karag, after the whole incident that happened as far as the massacre of her family, he winded up finding her, and he winded up pretty much taking her under his wing. There's a prophecy foretold by the second god, Ulir, who winds up telling Karag the dragon that he will find the human that can awaken cosmic magic, which he believes is Sky Punchlong. Another one of my favorite characters, Drish Mavenwild. She is the Magus, so another word for sorcerer, but she's been around for thousands of years. Her role in this story will be to help Sky Punchlong along the lines of guiding her, teaching her to awaken her abilities, being cosmic magic. Drish actually has spent a lot of time with everyone in this story, from the ancient elves, ancient dwarves, the second god Ulir. She was there with him when he brought forth a lot of these groups. So as far as she was there when the first dwarf god was created by Ulir, and So she's got a lot of knowledge of what's going on, and she's aware of the prophecy, you know, the one human that will help bring down the Dark Overlord Moreshadow. My characters, his name is Twinkie Elven Knight. So Twinkie is unique in the fact that he actually used to be a pawn or one of the main pets to the Dark Overlord Moreshadow. Unfortunately for Twinkie, he isn't a bad guy, but he has been turned a bad guy because of what he did. Unfortunately, the Dark Overlord used him to turn his entire group of elves that he was a part of into dark elves. So he corrupted their magic. After that, he was forced to flee, and at one point he was captured by sorcerers and imprisoned. During his imprisonment, he felt a sense of needing to to change things as far as to undo the wrong. So he escaped. And so upon escaping, he fled, not knowing that the Dark Overlord has actually been looking for him. So aside of the Dark Overlord looking for him, there's also sorcerers from the prison looking for him to sentence him to death. And he winds up having a big role in all this, in how he's going to contribute to helping the main character, which is Sky Punchlong. Another one of my characters, he's a dwarf named Sundance Goldbeard. As you can see here, he's got an axe. He's got, he's a little abnormal for a dwarf because he's about 5'6", taller than most dwarfs. But what's really cool about him is that he is actually the last dwarf king. Unfortunately for him, the Dark Overlord Moreshadow went and wiped off, all his kin, including his father, the king, and his mother, the queen. So for him, he's also got a personal agenda against Moreshadow. He was making a last dance at the Three Towers. He was actually in pursuit of, as you can see here, drawn by Zach, someone who's on our team, the Black Book. That Black Book is going to play a key piece in the way a lot of this turns out in pertaining to magic. As I've mentioned before, in this story, there are different forms of magics. So elves have magic, as we know. He'll be the first dwarf ever that can use a little bit of magic. There's human magic, and then there's dark magic, right? The main villain here, his name is Dark Overlord Moreshadow. So he's a really interesting character, right? So he believes that he could awaken in himself cosmic magic. So he's pretty much going around and wiping out all the main groups, major bloodlines. And then essentially, once he's wiped them out, he winds up spending time bathing in their blood, collecting all that magic in his body, kind of like a sponge, consuming it, and with the idea to essentially explode and awaken his cosmic magic. He leads the orcs. His sign that he puts on display is a werewolf crunching down on a griffin's skull. So you'll know he's present when you see that. He's got green magic. He spends a lot of time tenting his fingers. He's a very, very diabolical and sinister character. Will do anything to, to get to where he wants to be as far as power. And he has a lot of those individuals in this world, like ogres and trolls, that are behind him, and they support him because they feel that it's time for darkness to rule essentially over the light. He went so far as to being disgusted about how the Punchlong family was using their form of magic, which is a rare form of magic called cosmic magic, and they were trying to use it to, use it for the light, to heal people, to rid of disease, to bring peace, and he just couldn't stand the idea of magic being used that way, so he wiped them out.
What are some of your favorite books?
So some of my favorite books growing up was Tolkien's The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings series. Harry Potter was big at that time. I read The Chamber of Secrets and all the rest. At this time, I just finished The Belgorod, The Pawn of Prophecy, The Queen's Gambit. So while Uniquitous Magic has been a fun experience that I'm still working on, making sure that I craft the best version of this story out for everyone, I do want to make sure I spend some time letting everyone know about, you know, just the people that are involved. You know, we have Alex Rado that has continued to work with this team and myself doing all the editing. You know, huge thank you to Alex. He's here local as far as we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. I believe Alex even has a master's in English, and you know, I know he himself has a lot of writing that he's been doing as well. But also Zach Reyes, who, as I showed earlier, was phenomenal in the work that he did. Right, so all those characters that he's still bringing alive. I showed you guys some of his sketches, and we're very excited to be working with him and to see what the final product looks like, and for us to share that to the world. I also wanted to mention, you know, the main person also behind this, Tony Santiago. You know, without his efforts here too, we wouldn't be here. You know, from the designs, right? As far as graphic designs of the covers, from just looking at all this on how to deliver to everyone that enjoys the work that we put out, a great product. So I hope you guys, you know, feel obliged at any point to follow us on YouTube or any of our content, or at leyendopedia.com. If there's any questions, please shoot them out there to us. We are eager to hear from you guys. I read everything that's put out there. The team reads everything that put out there, you know, that gets put out there, and you know, we're really enjoying working on Uniquitous Magic. I can tell you it's been fun. I believe that you guys will enjoy it once it comes out. So keep in mind it's coming out this fall, and we'll see you guys then.